Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Platitude Era podcast. This has been a very good week for fans of comic book movies, comic books, and anything of that matter because what was just released? Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. What did you think about it?
It looks like they're ripping off Aquaman. I don't know where DC gets the balls to rip off a beloved superhero character like Aquaman, but I don't think it's right. This feels like plagiarism to me.
For me, it's got my attention. You know, when the first Wonder Woman trailer came out for the original movie, I was like, I don't know, I'm not excited about this. And then they delivered something that was watchable and entertaining, and to some people, they loved it a lot. So now they're releasing this one, Wonder Woman 1984, and it's got my attention, and I like how it plays off the nostalgia. Nostalgia for the 80s is still riding high, and they're taking advantage right now, and they came up with something that has my attention, and that I'm not like, oh, I don't want to see another one, but now I'm like, hey, I got something to do when this movie comes out on June 5th.
Yeah, the problem with, well, it's like it was another origin. The first movie was like another origin movie, and I don't know, maybe we're kind of fatigued with origin movies, or we need a different take on origin movies, but most people enjoyed it. They didn't mind. Me, and I think most other people who are more critical thought, oh, it's just a rehash of like Captain America. It even takes place during World War or whatever. You know, Captain America was World War II, this one World War One, because otherwise you wouldn't want to be too on the nose. And then this one, I feel like I don't want to say it's copying, but it feels like, well, because it seems to be taking a lighter tone. It's basing itself off of like nostalgia and music. It's got like, Aquaman was lighter and more fun and colorful, so it's got that going for it. It feels like Guardians, also that kind of thing, that color, and then it's playing to the 80s nostalgia. Guardians was all about music and a bit of the nostalgia too, because, he was a product of Peter Quill was like a product of like the 70s or 80s or whatever, so it's playing off of that nostalgia too. So, I mean, it looks like another action movie. It looks fun. Let's see how much it plays with the fact that it's 80s. You'd imagine it's a lot because if it's in the title of your movie. I mean, it's not like, what's some other, the new Kingsman movie is going to be called Kingsman 1917 or whatever.
So now it seems like there's a resurgence in prequels with all these movies releasing their prequels.
Mhm.
And I'm glad you brought up the music because I liked how every time there's in the song they're playing Blue Monday, and they
Mm.
have that cool bass line or that cool drum part. It syncs in with the guns in the trailer. So every time a gun's being fired in this trailer, it syncs up with that drum beat. And I liked how they did that.
Yeah, it's nothing new though. I've heard that in a bunch of trailers where it's like, oh, where's some percussion in the song? We'll just match that with the gunshots. I've seen it before, so tried and true formula.
And it's something new for me.
Mm.
And I guess this trailer doesn't give you too much, but it's still entertaining. So I really appreciate that. I have no idea what's going to happen in the story, but looks good.
Well, it gives you enough. So, Captain Kirk died in the last one. He's back in this one. So I don't know, time travel or he's a clone or some bullshit nonsense from a comic book. Pedro Pascal looks like he's playing Lex Luthor in this movie. Like he looks like he's Gene Hackman or something. And we don't speak of Kevin Spacey as in that role. Uh, Kristen Wiig looks like she's just playing Catwoman because I think she's playing like Chitara or
Cheetah.
something or other. Chitara, yeah, that's what I said, Chitara. Um, so yeah, I mean, on the surface level, it feels just kind of a facsimile of things that have been done before. But I mean, I don't doubt it. There's some cool action. There's that one scene where like Wonder Woman's cocking a dude's gun, and then like one of the bullets like pops out, and then she uses her wristband to like deflect the bullet and hit the dude or something. So there seems to be a little bit of creativity with the action going. Well, we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, that looked very cool.
Hmm.
And what also looked cool was when she was riding the lightning bolt.
Oh yeah, that feels like a spoiler or not a spoiler. Yeah, sure, spoiler, whatever. Where she's Spider-Manning across lightning bolts with her lasso. And I was like, oh, it's such a cool moment. Why spoil that in the trailer? But whatever. I guess it's been a while since the last one, so you gotta reintroduce people back into this franchise.
You're right. This has like a couple of spoiler things. So it has that where she's riding the lightning bolt that looks like it happens in the third act. So
Mm.
usually in these movies they have the second act where the hero doubts himself and then, something will inspire them and then they develop new powers. So it looks like in the third act she's gonna develop new powers to ride the lightning bolt, and then also there's a couple mentions in the comments where they talked about her golden armor. So that looks like that's another spoiler.
Yeah, they show at the end, it's like, oh, look, here's my Valkyrie armor or whatever. It's got wings and shit. I can fly or whatever. And I mean, if you look at the poster, it kind of looks like Aquaman's armor, which I guess you want it aesthetically to fit in that same universe. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, so it does borrow a lot from Aquaman because it's this different world, and then also it's got that fun. It's like, hey, it's fun, like Shazam. So this looks like it's the love child of Shazam and Aquaman. And
This
I know,
feels like an evolution from Snyder's original sour, dour, unfeeling, uninspired universe, and now I guess we're taking it into a different direction. But I don't know if maybe this does well. We keep on with the Wonder Woman 3, or eventually that DC universe reboots down the line. Who's to say?
and what's interesting in this, and I like how it paid off. They introduced in Batman v Superman how Diana or Wonder Woman is by herself. She's single, has no love interest, and then
Mm.
they keep it up in Justice League, and they showed you what happened to her in Wonder Woman. So it makes sense why in Wonder Woman 1984 she hasn't taken another lover. And then when they show the return of Captain Kirk, Star Trek, Chris Pine, uh, you know, like her emotions run wild, and it's something that has been building up for previous films, and it pays off in this one.
It's kind of like her bizarro version of being Steve Rogers, where instead of spoiler for Endgame, where instead of her going back in time to find her love from the First World War, her love from the First World War goes to the present with her to fall in love or whatever. I don't know. And they get
Oh,
married, and then Chris Pine kisses his niece or whatever. I don't know.
that's very interesting how you're making all these parallels. Oh, everything you see here, I've seen it in a Marvel movie. Marvel did it first,
Mm.
and
Yeah, I mean, well, like in the first one, Roman kind of copied the formula, and people are like, "Hey, DC movies do more of that." So I guess this is that evolution of that. When the movie comes out, we'll see how many Marvel movies this is copying.
you also mentioned this part how it was copying a Tim Burton movie where Kristen Wiig, her character looks like Selena Kyle. She starts off first as the nerd that everyone
Mm.
pushes off to the side, and then now she looks like Selena Kyle. She's got the black dress. She's at a party. She's turning heads.
Yeah, she kind of comes in slapsticky, like, "Oh, the woe is me" or whatever, and then as the movie goes on, she'll essentially just be Catwoman.
And anything else? Oh, I noticed in the trailer this was something very fast. It looks like there's some kind of Olympics in Amazonia.
I guess I don't know. Maybe it'll be I'm pretty sure there was an Olympic. It was an Olympic year in '84. What they'll just be like, oh, it's the Olympics, and I think this is the LA Olympics in '84. It's just like, oh, for some stupid reason, like, oh, I remember the original Olympics when all the gods competed or whatever, and flashback or future flash forward, whatever. I don't know. It'll probably be some dumb nonsense.
So you don't think it has nothing to do with the story, how she has to compete in this in order to fight the big
If
evil
they
or the
build
villain?
us, I'd like them to build a stupid world-ending MacGuffin in the Colosseum. Yeah.
Oh, now I want that too. Now that you inception that into my brain, I want that
The
too.
torch at the top of the Colosseum will be some form of lightning rod in which Pedro Pascal will need lightning to trigger the flux capacitor in the Colosseum to generate the 1.21 gigawatts so he can travel forward in time to assimilate with the powers of Doomsday to to bring forward the Snyder Cut on HBO Max.
That's what we want. Everybody's asking for the Snyder Cut.
Mm.
And What do you think of DC borrowing a book from Marvel's marketing? How at the end they always have to end the trailer on a joke.
Well, I mean, that's just Hollywood. It's just advertising. It's like, oh, the last thing you see, or like the last thing you see in a trailer will be how you'll remember it mostly. So leave it on a high note. I don't even, problem with is I don't even remember what the end joke was.
I think it was just making fun of art. How
Oh, that, yeah.
yeah,
Who
Andy
cares? I don't
Warhol
care.
painted what, a can of soup, and then other people did other things, and it's like, hey man, that's art now, even though you can't tell. And then Star Trek Chris Pine looks at a trash can, pretty much saying, hey, all new art, all this new art, modern art is pretty much just trash.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to our trailer reaction to Wonder Woman 1984. This is a Warner Brother film, and it comes out in theaters June 5th. So we're going to have a really stacked year next year, 2020, with Black Widow, James Bond, and now Wonder Woman 1984. Hello?
Yeah. What, did you have a question?
I was just waiting for like your comment. Oh, before I end this, my favorite part, it's what are people saying about these the trailer? So, you got one guy here. Um it's like, "Oh, I'm having these feelings from Stranger Things in the trailer." So, you
I
got the
mean, it
giant
looks like
mall.
they're shooting it at Starcourt Mall. Apparently, everyone which is using the exact same Georgia or Toronto or whatever mall because they all looks the same. Pretty sure it's the same mall from Shazam.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I guess later there's going to be that reference about, "Oh, remember when like another superhero crashed through our mall?" Or that could be their thing. You know how Marvel's supposed to have an occurrence in their movie, like they talk about, oh, somebody loses a hand, or I forgot, there's these little things. I guess that could be the DC thing where there's always a fight in the mall. And then this other commentator put, or on the comments, they're going to do her power justice: lasso, speed, flight, strength, love.
Oh yeah, we need that invisible jet. That's the only reason this movie needs to exist is because you couldn't have an invisible jet in World War One. Jets had come much later, post World War Two, and obviously you couldn't make Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, take place during World War Two because there weren't enough parallels drawn between her and Captain America already. So yeah, now you bring her into the modern era, you bring her into the Cold War or whatever, and now she could finally have her invisible jet. Say it's some stupid Soviet, secret, whatever.
Oh, man, I hate to break this to you, but there's two things we're never going to get. One is the Snyder cut, and two, the invisible jet.
I beg to differ.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Platitude Era on podcast. And if you're watching us on the YouTubes, click that subscribe button, click that like. That'll really help us out somehow. I don't know. That's what everyone says. Bye.